Welcome to my Commander Legends Dungeons & Dragons Baldur's Gate box opening. Alright, we're just gonna start here. You gotta make sure it's very solidly wrapped so that people don't accidentally open it at the wrong time. I remember people were really excited about this set, and it was like, people heard like, ooh, never Commander Legends, is there gonna be a Jewel Lotus in it? But I don't know, I think like the early spoilers, people were super excited about it, right? Like just, I think it was like a couple white rares, people were like, man, I really want to get it. But it ended up not necessarily working out the way that they wanted. You never know. Okay, what is this? Atrocious Experiment. Wait, is this basically just... Oh, it's target player, I see. So, like, it's kind of like that Mind Drain card, except you can target at somebody, like, you know, because Mind Drain is a little different. Like the Mind Drain from Zendikar. I like the names on some of these. You've been caught stealing. Okay. I guess you can, like, ramp or block. Some of these cards I haven't seen, because nice Atrocious Experiment, yeah. Alright, Lapis Orb of Dragonkind, so Dragon Ramp card. Dungeoneer's Pack. Enters the battlefield tapped. So you... I don't know what this initiative thing is, I should look at it. I think it just modifies some other cards based on whether you have initiative. But anyways... Contraband Livestock. Okay. Mixed tokens. Islands. Ellen Harbree's Busybody. There's a lot of text on it. Scion of Alastor. I mean, the creatures you own have... The first time you draw a card this turn. Okay, so it's like... Gives you cards. It's a background too. It's not a right. It's an enchantment. Ooh. Rilsa Rail Kingpin. It has like initiative and dungeon completion tab. Ooh, foil Basilisk Collar. Imagine if like Eldrazi Tron was still playable in Modern. Harper Recruiter. Party Matters card, alright. Sea of Clouds for your EDH deck. Ooh, Will Blade of Frontiers. It's like the same art as like the Alchemy card, but it's just different because it has like background on it. Nero Wild Mage. Randomness. And Dynahair Invoker Adept. May activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Oh, that's cool. So it's like, it gives your other creatures pseudo haste. Not like real haste because they can't attack or block or whatever. Like, but they can use abilities sooner. Might be like relevant if you're planning to like. You haven't done anything. You haven't experimented. Yeah, I haven't like looked at exactly what that is. What's going on with like the initiative cards? I just know that like there's some cards that are better if you have initiative, or they do something different if you have initiative. So I'm not even really sure what's like. I think the only thing I know of for a fact that are worth a lot of money is like the dragon, like the mythic dragons. This I don't even think this. I don't know about anything else really. Right. Ambitious Dragonborn. We know that from Draft. Young Red Dragon. We also know this from Draft. Patron of the Arts. So when Patron Art enters the battlefield or dies, create a treasure token. Okay, so just yeah, Treasure Maker, and then got Null Warband, which is different from like the online version. It has Menace and Myriad. Myriad, like Double Team was basically like the sort of like the online replacement um of Myriad. That's what wasn't gonna work, and then yeah, it's like the card looks very similar, except it's just a Menacer. It's not first strike when attacking Emerald Dragon. We knew that card. Planes. The Cantor of Endless Water. I like the flavor of that. It's just like it's like mana live, but it also gives you no maximum hand size, which is actually super relevant in Commander because so many people end up drawing a lot of cards. Renari Merchant of Marvel. You may cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. The background, and yeah, we saw Sign of Halaster, the background. Illicit Harsacer, same. From the Catacomb, put target creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with corpse counter on it. You take the initiative. If that yeah, it's a sorcery of escape. That's cool. So yeah, it just lets you reanimate a creature from a graveyard, and it just has like the text on it that if we leave the battlefield. So it's kind of like the under Amorphic Pool. So I guess these land. I don't know if these actual Balabons land are still worth anything after like the reprint, because I think they've been reprinted like multiple times now. Popular Entertainer. Commander creatures you own have whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to player, goad target creature that player controls. Or a Ragadraga Gorgod's boss. We knew that from draft. Ooh, and a foil Morphic Pool. So we got 2 Morphic Pools so far. So I think those are the only thing, like the only things I think that are worth money. Or like the lands might be worth a little bit money. I don't know if the Basilisk Collar is, but maybe if like Eldrazi Tron was still like playable in Modern. Pick the Basilisk Collar. But like the Basilisk Collar has been a bunch of sets too. At this point, so I'm just not expecting that's really be worth a lot, if anything. Alright. Next thing. Pegasus Guardian, we knew that already. Carnelian Orbit Dragonkind, knew that already. Greatsword to Tier. Remember when people saw this card initially, they thought it was going to be insane in draft? Because it's like being able to like tap your opponent's creature and then also put a 1/1 counter on like a creature when attacking. Ooh, foil Swiftfoot boots, those are kind of cool. For Commander aficionados. Patriarch Seal. So it's a mana lift that can untap a legendary creature. Okay. Forest. Safana Kalampor Cutthroat. At the beginning of your end step of initiative, create a treasure token. Create 3 of those tokens you completed instead if you have a dungeon. Imuan Mystic Trickster, which is different. It has Ward 2 and at the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card, draw another card, complete a dungeon. Aaron's Gloomstalker, Death Touch whenever Aaron's Gloomstalker attacks, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. Starring the Decadent, it's the same as online. Uchalon Crab Ooze Horror. Uchalon's power is equal to the number of crabs, oozes, and or horrors you control. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target creature card from your opponent's graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Uchalon. And oh, okay, Borderless Archivist of Ogma. Foil. So that's I mean, Borderless Archivist of Ogma is probably worth something. And then foil Shadowheart Dark just DCR. Kind of cool. Maybe there's like a sacrifice deck. It reminds me of like Disciple of Bolas, except it's like a legendary. Then the Jahira, Friend of the Forest. Tokens you control have add, tap, add color, or add green. Ooh, foil displacer kitten. And foil displacer kitten. There we go. That's gonna be worth something. Cutie. Okay. Hey, Mr. Archivist, how's it going? Extended foils are like 15 to 70 level. Oh, Archivist Borderless. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think there's only one foil land so far, the one pool. There's one, but I'm pretty sure that foil displacer kitten's probably gonna be worth something for like the 3 people still playing Legacy in paper. I say 3 people. There's actually more than that playing Legacy and paper. It's just, I think around here, people mostly stop playing Legacy, but it still exists. Probably on the East Coast, more likely. Alright, Young Blue Dragon, same thing. Crustneak. Okay, so. Okay. 4 mana, 1/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Okay, Goggle of Night. Knew about that already. Taunting Kobold. Whenever taunting Kobold attack, goad target creature opponent controls. Okay. Thunder Wave. Roll a d20. Okay, so it deals Oh, that's cool. It's kind of cool. It's like it's either like you can. Yeah, it's like 4 mana, deal 3 damage to each creature, or like if you hit 10 to 19, you can choose a creature not to take the damage, and then, yeah, and then 20 is like basically Plague Wind. Forest. Ooh, foil Lightning Bolt. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's like worth anything, but it looks cool. Foil Lightning Bolt. Mahadi Emporium Master. Cat Devil. Beginning your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. Okay. Candlekeep Sage. Commander creatures own have when this creature enters to leave the battlefield, draw a card. Mighty Servant of Luke O. Trample Ward, discard a card. Whenever Mighty Servant of Luke O becomes crewed for the first time each turn, it was crewed by exactly 2 creatures. It gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 2 cards. That's a very, very specific requirement to get crewed by exactly 2 creatures, but kind of neat. Multi-class Baldric. Equipped creature has lifelink if you control cleric, death touch if you control rogue, haste if you control warrior, and flying if you control wizard. As long as you have a full party, prevent all damage will be dealt to equipped creature. Alright, Borderless Innerleg Devourer. Knew about. Ooh, oh, that's kind of a cool looking foil. Bane, Lord of Darkness. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half your starting life total, Bane, Lord of Darkness is indestructible. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, target opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you may put a creature card with equal or lesser toughness from your hand onto the battlefield. Kind of like Athreos-ish. Bobolith Saga. Why is it like a... Oh, right, it's like a 3/3 for 3 IRL, but it's like a 4/4 for 4 online. And then foil Ragadraga. And a new Pegasus token. Is this like some kind of... Yeah, it feels like this is also like a different type of foiling on this card. I don't know, I could check the number. It says 500, so I think it might be different. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have the fancy foils in this set or not. Maybe. Oh, this was the card I didn't talk about before. Like, they just said there was too much text on it, but look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. For put one of those cards into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Just in case people were actually curious. They're like, I thought that card did something. It does something! I don't know what it does. But it did something. You love the border? Yeah, it's a really cool, like the texture on it looks really cool. Like at the very minimum, it's probably like, yeah, you can look at it. It's just the definitely feels like different. I don't know. Yep. It's an F&M promo border. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like an etched foil or something. That's why it's like different texture on it. Right, Earth Tremor. Deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of land you control. Okay. Foil Command Tower. That's cool. And it looks cool to me. Mercurial's Invoker, 8 mana, creatures you control get +2/+0 and gain menace until end of turn. Giant Onkheg, Trample Ward 2, other creatures you control have Trample and Ward 2. Nemesis Phoenix. This has a lot of text for like an uncommon on it, I won't lie. Flying. 2 red, return Nemesis Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Activate only during the declare attacker's step and only if you're attacking 2 or more opponents. An island. Best land. Alright, Charcoal Diamond. Why did they reprint diamonds in this set and not medallions? I don't get it, but Ganax Astral Hunter. Whenever Ganax, Astral Hunter, or another dragon enter the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. Choose a background, or as flying too. Scano's Dragonheart. Whenever Scano's Dragonheart attacks, it gains +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among other dragons you control and dragon cards in your graveyard. Choose a background. Blood Money, foil. Already knew about that card. Haunted One. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, it and other creatures you control that share a creature type with it get +2/+0 and gain Undying until end turn. Will's Reversal. Not to be confused with Narset's Reversal, but it says choose target spell or ability with 1 or more targets. Roll a d20 and add the greatest power among creatures you control. 1 to 14. You may choose new targets for that spell or ability. And then 15 plus, you may choose new targets with spell or ability and copy it. So it's like Wild Ricochet, potentially, depending on how you roll. And then this one, Volo, I turn a Scholar. This also has like kind of like cool etching on it. When Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof, and whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact, and then 2 colorless tab, draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. So it's like a throwback to the Volo card from the last set. Glunch the Bestower, flying at the beginning of your end step, choose a player. They put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control, and then choose a second player to draw a card, and then choose a third player to create 2 treasure tokens. And then foil Bane Lord of Darkness. And we already saw that card before. That's kind of cool. The Volo looks cool, at least. Where are we at now? We're making good progress. I feel like so far. They should have called it Force of Will. Yeah, that would have been funny. It's just like kind of throw people off, like especially when they're talking about Legacy, because it's only legal in Commander and Legacy, so it's like people are just like, huh? Oh, the initiative! I finally figured out what this is. Is that what this is? The initiative? Or is it? Whenever one or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, that player takes it. So it's like kind of like the Monarch, right? Whenever you take the initiative and at the beginning of your upkeep venture in the Undercity. I see, so it's like, that's cool. I didn't know that was how the initiative works. Somebody finally explained it. Alright. Sylvanas Invoker. 8 mana, untap target land you control becomes an 8/8 elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn. It's still a land. Tiamat's Fanatics. As opposed to like Warriors of Tiamat, it's just a 5 mana 4/3 haste with Myriad. Myriad being whenever this creature attacks for each opponent other than the defending player, you may create a token that's a copy of this creature that's tapped and attacking the player or planeswalker they control. Exile the token at the end of combat. You're confronted by robbers. You knew about that card already. Noble's Purse. Noble's Purse enters the battlefield tapping with 3 coin counters on it. Remove a coin counter from Noble's Purse. Create a treasure token. So it's like a slow way of making like 3 treasures. Gate Colossus. Reprint from Ravnica Allegiance. Swamp. Hadi Emporium Master Foil. And we saw Candlekeep say, Dragon Cultist. Commander creatures you own have at the beginning of your end step, if the source you control dealt 5 or more damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token flying. Elturel Survivors. Trample Myriad. As long as Elturel Survivor is attacking, it gets +X/+0, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. Like a 0/4. Alright, Loot Dispute. Whenever Loot Dispute enters the battlefield, you take the initiative and create a treasure token. Whenever you attack the player who has the initiative, create a treasure token. And then Loud Ruckus. Whenever you complete a dungeon, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Alright, Borderless Traverse Outland. Ooh, Foil Edge Raphael Fiendish Savior. And John Irenicus Shattered One. And Elder Brain, which is also like the promo, I believe. But like, alright, so John Irenicus Shattered One says, whenever at the beginning of your end step, target opponent gains control up to 1 target creature you control. Target opponent gained control of the 1 target creature control. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it and tap it. It's goaded for the rest of the game and gained. This creature can't be sacrificed. Whenever a creature you own but don't control attacks, you draw a card. And then, yeah, Elder Brain, which was like the Biobox promo. But Menace, whenever Elder Brain attacks a player, exile all cards from the player's hand and then they draw that many cards. You may play lands and cast spells from among the exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana, or mana of any color to cast it. So it's like it just lets you get like access to their cards or something. It's like usually the blue-black playstyle thing is being able to get some card from your opponent somehow, like. Well, not somehow, but like you have the ability to like play their card and stuff. Right. So we're about halfway through now. Trying to keep this at a keep this moving at like a somewhat brisk pace. Contact Other Plane, it's a reprint. Fire Diamond, Pilgrim's Eye, Candlekeep Inspiration. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness X/X, where X is the number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are instant card, or sorcery card, and or have an adventure. It's kind of like a biomass mutation. It's like a team pump, but like it's based on the number of instant sorceries and adventures, I guess, that you have in the graveyard or exile. Kind of cool. It's also sorcery speed. It says like blue overrun, spell overrun. Rug of Smothering, flying. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 1 life for each spell they've cast this turn. Kind of interesting. Marching Duodrone. Whenever Marching Duodrone attacks, each player creates a treasure token. Street Urchin. Commander creatures you own have 1. Sacrifice another creature or an artifact. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. Draka's the Butcher in Etched Foil. I almost read this as Furbolg Flatulist or something, but like Furbolg Flutus says, whenever Furbolg Flutus enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature you don't control until end of turn. Untap it and gain haste and myriad until end of turn. So you can't use it. It says specifically gain control of a target creature you don't control, so you can't like give haste to something else that you control. I think that's the whole purpose of it. Endless Evil. Enchant creature you control. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token as a copy of an enchanted creature, except the token is 1/1. When enchanted creature dies, if that creature was a horror, return Endless Evil to its owner's hand. It's like followed footsteps, but you only get 1/1s. And Robe of the Archmagi. Your Shaman Warlock Wizard deck. And Astarion the Decadent. In the Etchful. Ooh, Minsk and Boo Timeless Heroes. Portalus. Yeah. It's like it works. And this basically works the same as it does online, except the paper version, it can be your commander. It has like the same text basically. You can make, you make a 1/1 Boo, and then you can buff it or sack it. And then a borderless foil Horn of Valhalla. Yeah. I don't know how many etched foil flatulent Furbolg. Yeah, I don't know how many etched foils you actually get from like these packs. I think it's like 1 or 2 or something. I don't know. Like they keep changing the rules between like the different booster packs. I don't really know exactly what people do. What do they do? I'm not sure. Everybody's favorite draft common, Blessed Hippogriff. Every time you see a white mana and a pause, that's what's happening. Basilisk Gate. Tap to add colorless, and then two generic tap. Target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of gates you control. Activate only the sorcery. Hezro, Frog Demon. It says Demonic Stench, instant adventure. Each creature that blocked this turn gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control become blocked, each blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. It says, Manifold Key. It's just like a reprint from, I think, Core Set 2020. Iron Mastiff. Whenever Iron Mastiff attacks, roll a d20 for each player being attacked and ignore all but the highest roll. And then Iron Mastiff deals damage equal to its power to you. And then Iron Mastiff deals damage, or 10 to 19. Iron Mastiff deals damage equal to its power defending player. And then 20. Iron Mastiff deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Okay. Alright, Viconia Drow Apostate. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there were 4 more creature cards in your graveyard, return a creature at random from your graveyard to your hand. So it's like Oversold Cemetery. Val, Candlekeep Researcher, Vigilance. And the amount of color is equal to Val, Candlekeep Researcher's Toughness. This mana can't be used to cast spells from your hand. So it's like for flashback or playing stuff from your command zone or exile, etc. Far Traveler, enchantment. Commander creatures you own have, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to one target tapped creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. And then John A. Rennick has Shattered one. Saw before. Then Solemn Doom Guide. Flying, each creature card in your graveyard that's a cleric, rogue, warrior, and or wizard has unearth one colorless, one black, or one generic, one black. Lithid Harvester, Ragadraga, Gorgod's Boss, Gale, Waterdeep Prodigy. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast up to one target card of the other type from your graveyard. If the spell cast from your graveyard this way would put it to the graveyard, exile instead. And then Battle Angels of Tyr. Ooh, that's a really cool foil. It looks really cool, but Flying Myriad, whenever Battle Angels of Tyr deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. That's cool. That looks really cool, at least. It's cool looking. Yeah. Oh wait, Sea Hag, creature type Hag. Aquatic Ingress instant. Up to 2 target creatures each get get +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. And then the creature that when Sea Hag enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -4 or -0 until end of turn. Okay. Nimble Claw Adept. Tap to untap 2 other target permanent. Activate only the sorcery and only once each turn. So it's kind of like Clever Conjurer, but it can untap 2 things. But they only wanted to do it once per turn, so you can't like make it go infinite and stuff. Minimus Containment, it's a reprint. V-Rock. Flying, at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. Skullport Merchant, also reprint. Island. Halcyon Emerald Archdruid, one generic. Until end of turn, target token you control becomes a green bear creature with base power and toughness 4/4, in addition to its other colors and types. Criminal Pass, enchantment. Commander creatures you own have menace, and this creature gets +X/+0, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. And Renari, Merchant of Marvels. But just with etched foil. Ooh, foil Displacer Kitten. Again. Go foil Displacer Kitten. And then Folk Hero, enchantment. Commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once a turn. And then Gale's Redirection. Mercurial, Lord of Bones. As long as your life total is less than or equal to half of your starting life total, Mercurial, Lord of Bones is indestructible. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except an enchantment, and it loses all other card types. So it non-token creatures you control turn into enchantments, so they can't attack or block, but then they're just like enchantment, but they still have like the static ability. Ooh, Ancient Gold Dragon. That's cool. Flying, whenever Ancient Gold Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying as a result. And then Mighty Servant of Luke O. Saw before. And the Boo token. Go for the eyes! Eyes. Okay. I mean that's been decent so far. I mean, got like a couple Displacer Kittens. I don't know what about this other stuff. I have to like look through it later, to be honest. I'll have to like look at it later. But Underseller Myconid. Insufferable Balladeer. When Insufferable Balladeer enters the battlefield, target creature opponent controls can't block this turn. Goad it. Marching Duodrome. Mindstone Foil. Ooh, that's cool reprint. Cool reprint. You look upon the Tarrasque. So choose instant, choose one. Prevent all combat damage will be dealt to you and creatures you control this turn. Or target creature gets +5/+5 and gains indestructible until end of turn. All creatures your opponent control able to block that creature this turn do so. Okay, so it's like you can use it as fog, as like you can use it as one-sided fog, or you can use it as a lure type thing. Kinda cool. The Goggles of Night, they don't do anything. Wilson Refined Grizzly. The spell can't be countered. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Ward 2. Minfara Merciless Soul. Ward X, where X is the number of experience counters you have. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, you get an experience counter. Creatures you control get +1/+0 for each experience counter you have. So it's like very similar to the way it works online, except they use experience counters, not intensity. White Plume Adventurer. When White Plume Adventurer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. Cool. Green Slime. Flash. When Green Slime enters the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability from an artifact enchantment sort. If a permanent ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent. Foretell. What is the Foretell ability on this though? Like, I guess, I don't know. The Foretell has to have like specific text on like what it actually does. Or maybe I'm thinking like Forecast. That's probably what I'm thinking about. Oh, Foretell, alright, it's just the Kaldheim thing. Okay, yeah, it's just the Kaldheim thing. Basilisk Caller, equip, yeah. Shameless Charlatan. Commander creatures you own have two generic blue. This creature becomes a copy of another target creature. I just hadn't seen, I've seen Foretell cards yesterday. I don't know, I like blanked on it. Dynahair Invoker Adept. Haste, you may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those other creatures had haste. Whenever you when you next activate an ability, this turn by spending 4 more mana to activate it, copy the ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. So like it lets you copy your large thing. Then Jahara, Friend of the Forest. So you can copy like your large activated ability if you have one. Right. The ward is pretty big on it. Yeah, like it makes it a lot harder to kill. It's a 2/2, I guess. So it's not like as like survivable, but also like I guess the way Commander plays out anyways, like I don't really know if like changing it from like a 2/2 to a 2/4 is really that big of a difference. To be honest. If it's like a really important creature to your strategy, you're just gonna put Swiftfoot Boots on it or something, or Lightning Breeze. Alright, we're almost done. We got like 2 more packs to go. Thanks for like hanging out. Alright. Guiding Bolt. Nothing new there. Balls Invoker. 8 mana, generic. Balls Invoker deals 4 damage to each opponent. The part that's gonna sound so funny when I listen to it later. Be talking about that. Zentarum Bandit. When Zentarum Bandit attacks, you may pay 1 life. If you do, create a treasure token. Okay. Meteor. Meaty? Is it meaty or is it a golem? I don't know, but. Campfire. You gain 2 life. Or one. Sorry, 1 generic tab, you gain 2 life. 2 colorless. Tap Exile Campfire. Put all commanders you own from the command zone from your graveyard to hand. Then shuffle your graveyard into your library. So the art on that sort of reminds me of like, I think of like Sudden Disappearance or whatever the card was from like, I think Dark Ascension, but it's not the same thing. Commander Liara. So alright, whenever you attack whenever you attack spells you cast from exile this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of players being attacked. Exile the top X cards of your library. Until end of turn you may cast spells from among those exiled cards. Cast spells. Flaming Fist, background. Enchantment. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Agent of the Shadow Thieves. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It gains Death Touch and indestructible until end of turn. No opponent has more life than that player, so it's like you have to attack the low. Ooh, another Ancient Gold Dragon. Foil. That's cool. And then Delayed Blast Fireball. That's a lot of words. Delayed Blast Fireball deals 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If the spell was cast from exile, it deals 5 damage to each opponent and each creature they control instead. Foretell. Oh, okay, that's kind of cool, the Foretell on it. So, like, it's like huge. It's like Mizium Mortars if you're casting it from the Foretell. It's also an instant too. And then Monster Manual, which also apparently got changed online for some reason. Like the online version only lets you do it at sorcery speed. I don't know why, but alright, Gorian Wise Mentor, same thing as like online version. And another Vein. And a foil Will's Reversal. Yeah, I don't know why they changed it to be sorcery only online. There's probably like some like I don't know. I didn't read like the explanation like why, but maybe I should like go back and like look at it. It might be like relevant for like later, possibly. Alright, let me the last pack. Hack Attack. Attacking creatures get +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of players being attacked. Draw a card. Manor Gate. As Manor Gate enters the battlefield, as Manor Gate enters the battlefield, choose a color other than green, and add green or 1 mana to chosen color. So it's like those vivid lands, except it's a gate. Also for like gate matter stuff. Nimblewright Schematic. When Nimblewright Schematic enters the battlefield or is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. So this is basically just Servo Schematic, except they chose a different name for it. This flavor reason, like a Servo Schematic kind of wouldn't make sense. In Dungeons and Dragons, probably not. Alright, Passageway Seer. Lifelink. When Passageway Seer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. At the beginning of your end step, if you have the initiative, put a +1/+1 counter on Passageway Seer. It's a growing lifelinker. Nothic. Nothic? Not Nothic? 1 to 9, you draw a card. So when a Nothic dies, roll a d20. So 1 to 9, you draw a card, lose 1 life. 10 to 19, you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. And then 20, you draw 7 cards and lose 7 life. So that's probably going to be a funny story when you roll the natural 20 on this and die from it. That would be pretty hilarious. Sky Diamond. Aspiring Leader. Commander creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. Halcyon, Emerald, Archdruid, Shameless Charlatan, Deep Gnome Terramancer. I'm pretty sure that's worth something. So Flash, whenever 1 or more lands enter the battlefield under opponent's control without being played, you may search your library for a Plains card and then put it on the battlefield. Do this only once each turn. The Call of the Void. Sorcery. Each player secretly chooses a creature they control and a creature they don't control. Then those creatures are revealed. Destroy each creature chosen this way. Alright, Mazzy True Sword Paladin, which does the same thing as online, but it's like, whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, it gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end turn. Whenever an aura you control put into your graveyard from the battlefield, exile it. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast that card. And then Miram Sentinel Worm, Flying Ward 2. Whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of it, except the token is a legendary, if that dragon is legendary. Barroom Brawl. Target creature control, sorcery. Target creature you control fights target creature opponent to your left control. That player may copy the spell and choose new targets for the copy. Sort of funny. But, anyways, that is the end of the box opening stream. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I don't think. I mean, maybe it was bad. I'm not really sure. I gotta like look it up later. But we got like 2 of the. We got 3 of the 3 of the lands and stuff. Yeah, there was like 3 of those lands. Only 1 was a foil, but then there was like 2 dragons. So there's 2 dragons and 2 Displacer Kittens, basically, in the Archivist. I guess you can't see now the Deep Gnome Terramancer. So, I mean, it's like fine. Not like the best. But it will probably be fine. Remember that was like the 2 cards everybody was talking about at the beginning of spoilers. They were like talking about how Archivist of Ogma and Deep Gnome Terramancer was gonna make this like a amazing set. It is like it didn't end up necessarily that way, but you can't have like every set be like super good, right? Some of them have to be bad. Yes. I don't know. Maybe not. Alright. But if you like this video, be sure to check out the stream at twitch.tv/mercurialblue, and I will catch you in the next one.